Welcome to the Greener Gifting Gang podcast, the show that delves into the reasons we love to choose, wrap, and share gifts with each other. Hi, I'm your host, Eve Kale, founder of Gift Wrapped by Eve, and I'm on a mission to help you experience the joy of gift giving while also considering the planet. Each episode, I'll be sharing ideas or interviewing guests who will help inspire your choice of gifts and how you present them. Whether that's for your own gifts or products you create or sell in your small business, we'll help you consider how to make small changes that can help your gifting be a little greener. Hello everyone, welcome to another episode of the Greener Gifting Gang podcast. I'm delighted to have another amazing product business to talk to today. I'm talking to us about gifting in her own life, but also her business, which is really focused on mindful and eco-friendly giving. So Sarah, let's introduce yourself to everybody listening and then we will get chatting.
Hi, I'm Sarah Lou. I'm from Carmarthenshire in Wales, and I am hooked on yarn and stitching up a slow fashion revolution. I make handmade eco-conscious gifts.
Right. Fantastic. Mindful gifting that won't cost the earth. So you've really shaped your business all about the fact that we can give in a different way. How did you get started with doing that?
Well, I've always had sustainability as an ethos in my personal life as well. And when I originally started my business back in 2017, 10 years next year, oh my goodness, it was originally called Adventure Accessories. And I was making gifts for outdoor enthusiasts. So we're big into nature and walking and everything like that.
Yeah.
But I was really conscious of for outdoor enthusiasts, one of the biggest sort of rules that we have is leave no trace.
Yeah.
So when you're out walking, you don't leave any rubbish. You take home with you any rubbish that you've got, and things like take nothing but pictures, leave only footprints. And I was thinking, well, I need to reflect that in my business as well. And how can I do that? So I started looking into how I can use more sustainable materials and things like that. As that grew, I actually thought, no, I want this to be my focus and I want to open up my niche. So I rebranded in 2023 to Sarah Lou Crafts, which allowed me to not just focus on outdoor enthusiasts, but to focus on mindful gifting.
Yeah. Fantastic. It's so great to find businesses that haven't just got this as an add-on, but literally you've built what you're doing around that very ethos. So does that come into how you make what you do and what you make it with, or as well as the actual items themselves, I guess?
Absolutely. So I try to only use sustainable materials and I try to only use British manufacturers to cut down on my carbon footprint, things like that. Yeah. So I use cork fabric for my notebook journals because it's the most sustainable product there is. Almost. I use a company called Anchor Crafting for my cotton threads because they've got a fantastic sustainability ethos and they are British and things like that. So I try to use sustainable yarns as well, but they're very difficult to get. Cotton yarns and merino wool is fantastic, but it's quite expensive. You'll get a lot of people that are allergic to wool, believe it or not. An acrylic yarn is the most readily available, but it's plastic. So I'm making a real effort to only use thrifted yarns and buying dead stock where it's acrylic so that I'm saving from landfill.
Yes.
So there is still some acrylic yarns in my products, but I don't buy new acrylic yarns.
Yeah. And I think that is an important point, really, isn't it? That if there is a fabric or something that's out there that you can reuse and repurpose, it makes sense to use something that's already in existence. We had another guest on the podcast a while ago from Easy Wraps, and she uses dead stock fabric. You probably listened to that episode, and I'd say it was probably one of the ones that would interest you. And she's using dead stock fabric, so they're not all, they're not all cotton, they're not all natural materials, but they're being saved. Otherwise, they would just go to landfill. Yeah. And I think that is really reusing and repurposing is really important. I went to the plastic free gathering recently, and whilst obviously the name of it is plastic free, we did talk a lot about reuse and refilling, and sometimes that is a better option, seeking something new. So you've done lots of research, I guess, into finding the right providers, and it's not a quick process. So you must have to be somebody with lots of patience.
Many hours spent trawling through companies and websites and reading their sustainability policies and things like that.
Yeah.
But that's what you've got to do. I can't just talk the talk. I've got to back it up. I'll admit now I'm not perfect by any stretch of the imagination, but I'm trying.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to be better all the time, because greenwashing is massive, especially in the fast fashion brands. And I'm trying to not greenwash.
Yeah, I think you've got that with that mindset in mind. You're not going to be doing something on purpose. I think it's really hard as a small business to unpick these layers to really find what is actually going on. And I have myself become unstuck by thinking that I was buying something that was okay, and then actually delving a little bit further and realizing actually maybe it isn't the best option. But we are human, and we are only one person in lots of cases for small businesses. So we're doing our best. And I think it's good to acknowledge that it's not about being perfect. And I think I've certainly worried previously that I might be called out on different things. I think actually, let's be realistic. We're trying our best and like we say, we're small businesses, but doing our best. And it's okay to say, oh, actually, I found this out now, and then move forward from it. So the kinds of products that you sell in your business, what kind of gift occasions do you think that they're mostly bought for?
Generally, I actually aim at, obviously, birthdays and Christmas is sort of standard, but I try to go for the more housewarming and home decor style. So because my products, I'd like to think of them as keepsakes. The whole point is slow fashion, and therefore you buy fewer items, but they last longer. So I certainly sort of aim for that. And then sort of the big gifts like graduation for my notebooks, and obviously they're still aimed at travellers. You can use them as traveller notebooks so that you can go and record your adventures, plan your adventures, things like that. So if you've got somebody who's going off like on a backpacking holiday, gap year, I sort of market at that type of gifting opportunity. So some of the more, not obscure, but not necessarily the most common ones that you'd think of.
Yeah. Yes, it's not the ones where you're going to be, in some ways, as a business, fighting for airtime. Christmas, for example, is such a crowded market. Yes, there are lots of opportunities because lots of people are buying gifts, but it's the one that's most difficult to stand out in. So yeah, I can see exactly, the kind of person that you're buying that gift for. I love that idea that you're going to send somebody off on their travels and they've got something really special to take with them, something that's going to remind them of home, and something that they're going to be able to then keep for years to come. It's a lovely idea, really lovely. So, do you give a lot of gifts in your own life as well?
Not so much now that my two boys are adults, so we don't do the sort of commercial style birthdays and Christmas like you do when they're little. But I think that's better because of my sustainability ethos. I'm not into the mass produced gift giving. So again, we like to do things like christenings, weddings, housewarming, for rather than solely focusing on birthdays and Christmas, because you get lots of gifts for those sort of occasions. So yeah, we are a gift giving family, but we don't tend to go for more different. We try and think outside the box and get sort of quirky gifts and one-off gifts, but things that will be treasured rather than just shoved in a drawer.
Yeah, okay. So it's because sometimes people have sort of shared that they like to buy practical gifts. And that's their sort of greener angle, is to buy stuff that's really practical. But you're actually saying buying fewer gifts, but something that's more memorable and unique is the kind of way that you've gone. So do you give gifts from your own range to people?
Have done, but again, I try not to necessarily bombard everybody in family with it. Obviously, that's how it kind of started out as well. I was giving
Yeah,
my stuff away as to family and friends because you've only got so much room in your house for everything
yeah,
that you make.
yeah.
But when I am buying gifts for my family, I will only shop from other small businesses
Okay.
wherever possible.
Yeah,
And I absolutely love browsing on things like Folksy and Etsy and the British Craft House, which are Folksy and the British Craft House are British companies again, so that you're helping support people in the UK and small businesses in the UK.
yeah, yeah. So you've really got that really focused way of shopping and looking at supporting small first before you go elsewhere. I mean, I think maybe as, when children are younger, it is difficult sometimes to shop small,
Yeah,
isn't it? But I think it's a really nice opportunity if you want to buy something a bit different, you're going to get something different from a small business. You're not going to get that run of the mill. And do you think you enjoyed the process then? It sounds like you take your time over it.
definitely take my time. We're also, in our family, we're actually quite big on re-gifting to
Okay.
each other as well.
Yeah.
And we've got no problem with hand-me-downs just because it's secondhand, it's new to me. We don't have an issue with that either. So that's quite nice as well. And you
Yeah.
can re-gift things on and buy things secondhand that would make a good gift. I bought my father a beautiful globe that had a light inside it that I got from a vintage market. It
Yeah.
was hand, but he absolutely loved it.
Yeah, that's really interesting because I think one of the challenges is perhaps you want to be more sustainable in lots of areas of your life and you want to try doing that with gifting but then you feel perhaps like it's a difficult subject to talk about with family and friends, or perhaps they're not on the same journey as you. But would you say it sounds like the rest of your family are, in a similar place?
Yeah,
Or have you done some
thankfully.
work on them?
Yeah, well, partly that, my mum was the same. She was about sustainability, and we've
Yeah.
only got one Earth, and it's not ours to mess around with. We're only borrowing it from the next generations. So I got a lot of that from her.
Yeah.
So thankfully, I do have a good family that we don't mind secondhand for gifts, but I know commercialism, it's all got to be new, 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 and the latest this gadget, and I don't agree with that
Yeah.
necessarily.
Yeah.
Because there's so much stuff already in the world.
Yeah. Yeah. It's really difficult. And I think it's really one of those, it's going to take time and people talking about it to make those changes and normalize being able to gift in a different way. Because you're right, I think it feels for a lot of years, I think it has felt like buying things new was just it was the thing to do. It's not to say that there aren't some reasons when you might need something new, but I know it's difficult. I've talked about it on the podcast before. I feel like I'm not like the people that I buy for are maybe not quite there yet, but I need to be I need to be braver about having conversations or just trying things and buying things pre-loved and seeing what happens.
Absolutely. But as I said, if you are buying new, try and buy from another small
Yeah,
business. And support the economy that way, that you're putting money back into
yeah,
the economy by buying small rather than mass produce
yeah,
fast fashion, as I call it.
yeah, yeah, definitely. So the fashion items that you're producing, that you're selling, tell us a bit more about those. What kind of things could we get from you?
So the slow fashion items that I make are things like beret hats, boot cuffs, mitts, ear warmers, again, still aimed at your outdoor enthusiasts. I haven't got rid of them completely. And then shawls and blankets for more garden parties, holidays, and then the blankets are for camping, caravanning, at home, whatever you want
Yeah,
to use them for. And again, they're made to be last for years and years and years. And again, I do advertise in my sustainability policy on my website that gift them on if you don't want them anymore. And if nobody in your family wants that sort of gifting on, then give them to a charity that can sell them on that way. But they are made to last years and years and years.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, absolutely. And I think that's really nice. I mean, with lots of items now, I mean, gifting is one of those things, isn't it? You might receive a gift that somebody has put a lot of love into, but it isn't quite right for you. I mean, an example, somebody might buy something from you, loving it, but unfortunately, somebody might receive it and be allergic to wool, for example, but it's a high quality item, so passing it on to somebody who would use it is, you know, absolutely the thing to do. And that's the thing about pre-loved, actually. Often things that are pre-loved they've not been around for very long. I mean, lots of things you can pick up on Vinted have hardly been used
Absolutely.
at all, but they're out there. So yeah, but I'm sure lots of people will want to get your things and use them for a really long time, the high quality items that they are. So yeah, fantastic. So it sounds like you enjoy the choosing of the gifts, but how about the wrapping of them? Do you enjoy the process of wrapping gifts?
Yeah, I love wrapping my orders and making them really pretty for the customers. Now, I agree, I use mostly recycled packaging. So the cardboard boxes and the envelopes is stuff that I collect in from family and friends that has already been used. So it doesn't look particularly pretty, but I make sure the item inside is wrapped beautifully. So I use unbleached recyclable plain white tissue paper, and I use jute string twine, and I use paper packing tape. So I make sure that looks really pretty for the customers. And then for when I'm gifting to family and friends, I'm really big on using reusable gift bags. So it's easy to sort of wrap, put it in a gift bag, but they're pretty and they're reusable. I don't use plastic or anything like that. They're all
Yeah,
fabric
yeah,
or paper.
yeah, yeah. So things that can be passed on and reused again. The gift bag is the gift that keeps on giving. It keeps going round and round. So yeah,
Yeah, so
it's great.
obviously when the boys were smaller, it was wrapping paper and sellotape, etc. But again, you become really conscious of just how wasteful that is. And a lot of modern wrapping paper can't be reused because it's that foily, plasticky stuff.
Yeah,
So I quickly went on to, no, this needs to gradually bring in, and I bought in gift bags and gift boxes for them to open up instead.
yeah, yeah.
So they've
It,
been trained from a young age.
yeah, yeah. I have my family and friends well trained now, and they usually return a bit of paper to me when they've opened it. And if you choose higher quality paper in the first place, it can be reused quite a few times. At the
Absolutely.
end
And
of
I've
its
got
life.
memories of my mum on Christmas Day going round, picking up the pieces of wrapping paper and
Yeah,
smoothing them back out and put them in a pile ready for
yeah,
the following year, etc. I remember it well.
yeah. And we're going back to that now, which is it's
Good,
good,
because
isn't
there's
it?
so much waste.
Absolutely. I think it's really interesting. The description of the way you wrap your orders is it's quite it's natural, it's plain, but it can still be presented when it's put together in a beautiful way.
I think
Um,
so. It
yeah,
doesn't
it's
have to be all glitter and sparkle.
no, no, exactly. You can come up with a really strong, beautiful way of presenting things just using simple,
Yeah.
simple tissue paper, simple using the jute or the twine. Yeah, absolutely. I think it's a really stylish way of presenting things. It doesn't,
I
like you
think
said,
so, and it's become part of my brand that
yeah,
everything is sustainable or reused. And I explain again in my sustainability policy, yes, the packages are reused, and there might be slight marks or tears on the boxes, but it in no way reflects the carefully
yeah,
wrapped handmade item inside.
yeah, yeah, exactly.
Never to this day had a complaint about the packaging being used packaging.
Yeah. I mean, it just makes sense, doesn't it? I am the same when I send out orders from my online shop of wrapping materials. I've used cardboard that I've received gifts in. I've never bought any boxes to send things out in. I just reuse what I've got because it's just mad to throw things away that you've got coming into your house. You may as well reuse them.
When I first started, I was buying all of my boxes new. It didn't even occur to me to think, well, hang on a minute, why am I just not reusing boxes? I'm not quite sure how it suddenly dawned on me, or I must have run out and thought, oh gosh, what am I going to do? I don't know, but Suddenly, once I'd had the epiphany, went, well, goodness me, why am I
Yeah.
buying all these new in when there's so many cardboard boxes and envelopes around?
Yeah.
So I put an appeal out to my family and friends and said, can I have them all? And I was inundated.
Yeah.
And I've got piles of boxes, and I'm now of that age where I really get excited about a good box that goes into my collection.
Yes, absolutely. I'm like, I must keep this because this is a good one. I've got to do something really good with this one. Yeah, it's I think the only thing I would say is that occasionally it's good to have, if you've got a lot of orders to go out at once and you want to have the same size box just to make your packing process quicker, then I think then there is a sort of a sense in buying a certain style of box in bulk.
Then I
Yeah.
wouldn't, always have something in stock or have them as a backup,
Yeah.
definitely.
Yeah, I think and I think that makes sense. But there are different places, there are places that you can go and look at for like an eco option and looking at something that's sourced hopefully from the UK, or there are even companies like Reuse a Box. Specifically, you can buy reused boxes.
Yeah.
So, there are lots of things you can do. It sounds like you've ticked a lot of those off, though. Fantastic. So you enjoy the process of the wrapping, and do you have sort of rituals or traditions, and or you obviously you said you enjoy doing the customer orders. Do you set aside a certain time where you do the
Yeah.
packing and
So when I'm packing orders, etc., I'll have a podcast on, like yourself, for example, just in the background. I like to have something on, and if it's not a podcast, it'll be the radio to listen
yeah,
to. When the boys were little, again, you did have more presents, and it took a lot longer to wrap at things like Christmas and stuff. So yes, I did go and get out the Christmas CDs and put them on, that type of thing.
yeah,
But not so much now, as I said, because they're older. But no, I've got a little sort of packing station for my business with all the different boxes
yeah,
and wrappings, so that sort of comes out, and I do that. For family, I've got a little sort of like packing box that's under the spare bed in the spare bedroom with the reusable gift bags or wrapping paper that I've saved, etc. So I'll go and get that out and sit on the floor in the spare room and then do the wrapping that way.
yeah. Yeah. So yeah, you take the time to sort of get your things out and go through the motion of doing it. And
Yeah.
yeah.
I love giving gifts. It's joyful to give a bit of joy to somebody else and see their reaction when they open them.
Yeah. Do you have any particular gift memories that stand out? Something that you've particularly enjoyed giving, or something that stands out that you've received?
Giving, I think, would have to be when my son and daughter-in-law bought their first house several years ago now. I bought a beautiful pet portrait of their dog from another small business. I'll give her a shout out if that's okay. Rachel Cobb Art. So I managed to sneak a photo of their dog to Rachel, and she did a beautiful pet portrait of their dog onto a wooden heart, which was their housewarming gift. And I think that went down an absolute treat. Also, I crochet. Paw prints is one of my products.
Oh
So I
wow.
did paw print in the colours of their dog for their housewarming gift as
Yeah.
well. So that went down really well. And again, it's a small business, unique present. You're not going to get that anywhere else mass
No.
produced. So that was probably one of my favourite gifts to give. Actually, quite recently, one of the gifts that have been given to me, I went through cancer treatment at the end of last year, beginning of this year. And a online friend who I happen to know in real life as well, she's a small business owner, knocked on my door randomly at the beginning of this year and said she'd got a gift to me from her daughter. I was like,
Wow.
okay. And what they'd done is, the mum is an artist and a poet, and she does beautiful paintings. And she painted a picture of a woman crocheting, and the daughter has crocheted just a small scarf, and
Oh,
they've stuck it to the painting.
yeah.
So it's a picture, little mixed media art of a
Yeah.
woman crocheting. And I just thought that was absolutely stunning. What a beautiful gift to
Yeah.
give to
Yeah.
somebody going through cancer treatment. I'm
Personal.
thinking of you.
Yeah.
I love it. And it just sits in my craft room next to
And it's such those are all such personal gifts, like you say, that would not be, you couldn't get from anywhere else. And it's just really thoughtful as well.
Yeah.
And it just shows you and reminds you that it's the thought that goes into the gift that is as important, if not more important, than the actual item
Yeah.
itself, although those items all sound amazing. And yeah, thank you for sharing those examples. Yeah, fantastic. And then every time you see the gift, you remember that that person thought of you.
Yeah, and I do every time I see it. It's something nice to come out of a bit of a dark time.
Yeah.
And the fact that they thought of me and wanted to do something for me, that just, personal and really
Yeah.
emotional.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
yeah, it's those sort of gifts that matter, I think. They're the ones that last, they're the ones you remember, they're the ones you keep.
Yeah, and I think it's really interesting that those are the ones that you really have focused in on your in your business. It's those smaller occasions where you're not going to receive, Christmas and even birthdays can sometimes be overwhelming
Yeah.
because there is an expectation that you will receive gifts. And it can be a lot, but these smaller occasions, like a new home or going traveling or something like that, it's when you're less likely to get something. So when you do, it's even more of it's even more of a special occasion, and you've got that opportunity to really connect with somebody, what I think gifting is all about, really. Uh,
Absolutely.
yeah. Well, thank you so much for sharing, your thoughts on giving and how we can do it in a greener way with us. I've really, really loved it. Um, so Sarah Lou, can you tell us where can people come and find you if they would like to come and shop with you or connect with you if you're there another small business as well?
Well, my website is nice and easy. It's sarahloucrafts.co.uk. And you can find me on Instagram and Threads, both at Sarah Lou Crafts. I am most active on Instagram. I love Instagram.
Yeah.
And Threads is a great place to hang out and chat as well. And I also stock in 3 gift shops locally to me in Carmarthenshire as well. But you can find details of those places on my website.
Brilliant. Well, we'll pop all those links in the show notes so that people can come and check out all of the amazing things that you make. And go and shop small and shop small for your next housewarming gift by the sounds of it. So fantastic. Thank you so much for coming and talking to me today. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for listening to the Greener Gifting Gang podcast. For free resources, head to giftwrappedbyeve.com/freebies and follow Eve on socials at giftwrappedbyeve on Instagram and Facebook.